Hello and a warm welcome to Sarat Chandra IAS Academy, where your dreams are our mission. This is Yatharth here. Today we'll be discussing about the concurrent issue, One Nation, One Election. And we'll see it in the view of UPSC, how prelims questions can be asked. So let's talk about the introduction here. So in its report submitted to President Draupadi Murmu, the high-level committee on One Nation, One Election, headed by the former President Ramnath Kovind. So this can be the first statement, although it is not of the prelims level, but can be asked in state exams, that who headed this committee. So the committee has recommended that elections to the Lok Sabha and state assemblies should be held at the same time. And subsequently, elections to the local bodies, they are municipalities and the panchayats too, should be synchronized. That means not at the same time, but synchronized so that they held within 100 days of the simultaneous state and national elections. So this is the main recommendation, the chief recommendation. All right, this can also be asked as a statement. So instead of synchronizing, what they can say that all the elections should happen at the same time. So this is not true. All right. Now, to give effect to its recommendation, the committee has suggested 15 amendments to the Constitution of India. Now, this is another topic, that how constitutional amendments are made, what are the types of majorities, whether simple majority, whether special majority with the state ratification. All right. So which type of the majorities are there, which type of ratifications are required. So in the form of both new provisions and change to the existing provisions to be carried out through two constitutional amendment bills. Let's talk about these two bills. So the first bill will deal with transition to simultaneous election system and the procedure for flash elections to Lok Sabha or state assembly before the expiration of their stipulated 5-year term. Now what does this mean? Let's say this state assembly had let's say 4 years completed, all right, and 1 year remaining. So if the elections are held here, all right, so whatever government is chosen, they will carry on their governance for the next 5 years, all right, and they will have to shut down at 4 years. Now according to the Kovind committee, this bill, that is the first bill, this can be passed without the requirement for consultation with states because it does not deal with the topics in the state entry list. Okay, it is about the Lok Sabha and state elections or government or ratification by state assemblies. The second bill deals with the municipal and panchayat elections. So these are the parts of the state assembly or state entry list. So as well as the creation of single electoral roll by the Election Commission of India with details of every voter and the seat for which they are eligible to vote. The Kovind committee has acknowledged that this bill deals with the subject on which states have the primary power to enact laws, and hence it would require the approval or ratification of more than half of India's states before it can be enacted. So more than 50% of the state majority should be there. Now the first bill recommended by the Kovind committee would begin inserting a new article 82A. All right, now this article itself can be asked in the exam, that article 82A enacts this certain thing. So article 82A will establish the process. So this is the main article, the article 82A. So it will establish the process by which the country will move to a system of simultaneous elections for Lok Sabha as well as state assemblies. Furthermore, when we see, let's say, article 82A part 1 or subclause 1, so this will state that on the date of first sitting of the House of the People, that is Lok Sabha, after a general election, the President will issue a notification bringing Article 82A into effect. Furthermore, 82A second subclause that will state that all the legislative assemblies constituted in any general election held after the appointed date shall come to an end on the expiry of the full term of House of the People. That means when the Lok Sabha will be dissolved, all other legislative assemblies constituted in any general election. All right, that means all the state assemblies also will be dissolved along with. So this can be asked as a statement. Second thing, the proposed article 82A subclause 3 requires the ECI, that means Election Commission of India, to hold general elections to the House of the People, Lok Sabha, and the legislative assemblies simultaneously. That means the legislative assemblies of the state. Alright, so Lok Sabha plus state. If the ECI believes that the election to any legislative assembly cannot be concluded simultaneously, it will make a recommendation to the president. All right, important precedent here, to declare by an order that the election to that specific state legislative assembly may be conducted at a later date. All right, so it is fairly possible and it is included in the amendment bill only, that what will happen if it is not possible due to any reason, that means then president will make an order that it can happen on a later date. All right. However, even in cases where the state assembly election is deferred, that means happened on a later date or is not, let's say, happening simultaneously with the Lok Sabha, the full term of the legislative assembly shall end on the same date as the end of the full term of the House of the People or Lok Sabha constituted in the general election. All right, so let's say if the election does not takes place later, but whenever the next House of the Lok Sabha is dissolved between these 5 years, all right, all state assemblies will be dissolved with this. It will not carry forward. There is no carry forward. Okay, next what we see, the proposed bill also recommends amending Article 327. So please remember this article. Which new article is added? Article 82. And which article is amended? Article 327. So what does this do? So which gives Parliament the power to make laws relating to elections to Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and the state legislatures, including the preparations of electoral rolls and delimitation of constituencies. So what will this do? Article 327 will be amended. And what does Article 372 do? Here it is written. The Coven Committee has recommended that the power of Parliament under Article 327 should be expanded. All right, so it is not reducing any power. It is expanding the power. And what power is expanding? That to include conduct of simultaneous elections. All right, so it becomes the power of the Parliament. When Lok Sabha or State Assembly is dissolved before the full term ends, Lok Sabha and State Assembly are constituted for a period of 5 years after each election. All right, so let's say whenever it synchronizes, in 2029 it is being said. So one Lok Sabha will be formed, new Lok Sabha, and all elections will be done. All right, and for 5 years, the term will be done. Okay, this will be known as the full term. So committee has recommended that this 5-year period will be referred to as the full term by amending the subclause 2 of Article 83, duration of Houses of Parliament, and subclause 1 of Article 172, which tells about the duration of the state legislatures. Okay, so it is essentially amending with the duration. So which articles deal with the duration of the House? Article 83 and Article 172. So if Lok Sabha or any state assembly is dissolved before the expiry of the full term, the remaining period will be referred to as the unexpired term. If Lok Sabha or a state assembly is dissolved before the expiry of full term, the remaining period will be referred to as the unexpired term, as per the suggested amendments to the Article 83.3 and 172.3. So this is essentially talking about the duration of the houses. Furthermore, what we see, the recommended articles, these both, which deal about the duration of the House, state that the Lok Sabha or State Assembly that replaces the previous one will serve only for the remaining unexpired term before being dissolved again once simultaneous elections are conducted as scheduled. That means whatever starts or whatever happens in the middle, all right, whatever happens in the middle, if there is any Lok Sabha is being dissolved, the reference will be the Lok Sabha here. So if the Lok Sabha is being dissolved, that means all state assemblies, regardless of whatever term they have served, all right, they will also be dissolved for the next election. That is the only way that simultaneous things can continue. The report also has recommended the amendment of certain laws relating to the legislative assemblies in the UT. So this we talked about the states, but we also need to do the elections in the UT. So which articles will deal with that, or which acts will deal with that, such as the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi. So this is a very famous law, all right, of Delhi. This is also known as the GNCTDA Act 1991. It was much into news, I think 2 years ago, when there was a conflict between the governor of Delhi and the Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal. So the Government of Union Territories Act 1963 and the Jammu Kashmiri Organization Act 2019. So these law would have to be amended to ensure that assembly elections in UTs also take place simultaneously with the Lok Sabha. So Lok Sabha will be the reference here. Just a second. So Lok Sabha will be the reference here, or the House of People, and according to that, state assemblies will be dissolved and made, as well as the UTs. Now one thing is remaining, the municipalities and the panchayats. So let's see about them. So it also contains amendments that will require ratification by the states. So which amendments will require ratification by the state? These two. Alright, so under Article 368, subclause 2, any constitutional amendment that deals with subject in the state list, where states have the power to enact laws, would have to be ratified by at least half of the state legislatures in the country before it can be passed. Alright, so which are the subjects here? So as the amendment suggested in the second bill relate to municipal and panchayat elections. So these are the list, or these are the subjects which are into the entry 5 of a state list, titled local government. So they will require ratification by the states. States means more than 50% of the states. This can be asked as a statement itself, that what is the percent here. So the committee has suggested the inclusion of new article 324A for this in the constitution. The new article would empower parliament to make laws to ensure that municipality and panchayat elections are held simultaneously with the general elections to the Lok Sabha and state assemblies. So this basically tells about a gap of maximum 100 days. The Coven Committee has also recommended that new subclause should be added to Article 325 of the Constitution. What does this article say? That there shall be one general electoral roll. Alright, it's talking about the roll. Roll is where your name comes in your voter ID, alright, and the voter ID number comes. For every territorial constituency for elections to either House of Parliament or the House or either House of the Legislature of State. So there will be a single electoral roll. Alright, for the Lok Sabha elections, for Rajya Sabha elections, or if there are, let's say, two houses in the the state assembly, if there are two houses, if the upper house is there, lower house is there, then all in all there will be a single electoral roll. The new articles 325A proposed by the committee will create a single electoral roll for every territorial constituency for election in the House of the People, that is Lok Sabha, a legislature of a state or any state assembly, or to a municipality or a panchayat. That means a single roll will have all the details. Alright, that which constituency the person is falling in the panchayat level, at the municipality level, at the state level, and at the Lok Sabha constituency level. So this electoral roll shall be made by the election commission in consultation with the state election commissions. So now what we see is a changing role. Changing role. So how role is being changed? That earlier state list have local government, and the state was empowered to make electoral rolls for this panchayat and municipal elections. But now this role will be fulfilled by the ECI, and the states will have only a consultative role. Alright, not deciding role. So if this recommendation is accepted by the states, the process of creating electoral rolls will be taken over by the ECI, and the state election commissions will play a purely consultative role. Now, how do we make a mind map of this thing? That means this is a long PDF, large PDF. How do we make a mind map of this thing? That what we need to see. Alright, so first of all, we'll see the need for this process, for one election, one nation, one election. This we have already discussed. It was because of multiple things. First thing is expenditure. Second thing is issue of the migrants. Multiple elections in a year. Okay, again and again the political environment is created, and better governance. And what is the cons? Many people say life of the EVM. Alright, and let's say loss to the federalism. The one single person can influence the state assembly elections by creating national issues and solving them. Alright, so this can be two things, first of all. Third thing, what we saw, that what was the committee? Alright, the recommendations were sent to the president by the former president committee, Ramnath Kovind. And now lastly, we come to the recommendations. So what is the chief recommendation? So recommendations are that Lok Sabha plus state assembly elections will be done, and state assembly plus, let's say, municipality plus panchayat elections will be done within 100 days. All right, plus UT elections will be done. And now the last thing we see is how these recommendations will take place. So these will have two bills. Okay, first we will be dealing with the Lok Sabha plus state assembly elections, and second we will be dealing with the state entry lists. Now, which articles will be formed? All right, Article 82 will be formed, new article. And what articles will change? Let's say Article 327 will change. What amendments will be made? What the subclauses are saying, A, B subclause. All right, what are the articles mentioned in the news? Let's say Article 172. So what is it dealing with? Let's say it is dealing with the duration of the state assembly. Duration of the state assembly. So this way a conclusive mind map can be formed in a single page about what we have learned from this thing. All right, and this all is going to happen in 2029. So there's a long time for that, but a question can be asked in prelims. So I'll be sending or uploading this PDF also to the group on our Telegram group, Sarat Chandra IAS Academy. All right, from there you can download this all and include it in your notes. So thank you very much for your presence. Have a great day. See you soon.